Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the master plan that's designed to turn young athletes into world-class champions. This isn't just about more practice. It's a story about science, long-term strategy, and completely rethinking what it takes to win.
So here's the big question, right? It's what every coach on the planet is trying to figure out. How do you take a kid with a spark of talent and turn them into an elite performer? We usually think it's all about non-stop drills and just finding that one superstar. But what if there's a smarter way? What if the real secret is baked into the system itself?
Exactly. It takes a blueprint. And that's what we're going to dig into today, the one created by Volleyball Canada. We're going to look at what was going wrong, the scientific system they built to fix it, and, what's really cool, how cutting-edge tech is taking that plan to a whole new level.
All right, so to really get this, we've got to go back in time, to the mid-2000s. See, Canadian volleyball was booming. I mean, participation was through the roof. Gyms were packed with kids who loved the sport. But that energy wasn't making it to the international stage. They were falling behind, and they realized something in the pipeline was seriously broken.
I mean, talk about a wake-up call. This quote is from their own internal report. It was a pretty blunt admission that, hey, even with all these kids playing, our system just isn't working. Other countries were getting smarter, and they were getting left in the dust. They knew they had to make a big change, and fast.
So, when they looked under the hood, what did they find? A whole mess of problems. For one, there was this huge focus on winning, even at young ages. That led to kids specializing in one position way too early, which actually stunted their overall skills. On top of that, training was totally out of sync with their physical growth spurts, and there was no real national system to spot top talent. You put it all together, and you have a system that was actually holding kids back and burning them out. So, faced with this, Volleyball Canada didn't just put a Band-Aid on it. Nope, they basically tore the whole thing down to the studs and rebuilt it from scratch. Their solution was this incredibly detailed, science-first framework called the Long-Term Athlete Development Model. You'll hear it called LTAD. This was their new Bible.
Now, at the absolute heart of this whole model is a really cool idea called windows of trainability. The thinking is simple. You can't just train everything all the time and expect the same results. It's like farming. There's a right time to plant, a right time to water. The body is the same. There are these perfect little windows during the kid's development when they're biologically primed to get way better at certain things, like speed or strength. And this chart shows you exactly what they're talking about. You'll see PHV, that's just a fancy term for a teenager's main growth spurt. So you can see the model says, hey, let's really focus on stamina right when that growth spurt kicks in. But strength, that window opens up a bit later. It's all about training with an athlete's body, not fighting against it. It's just smarter. So this new way of thinking didn't just change what coaches were teaching. It totally flipped the script on how athletes were spending their time. The whole balance between practicing your skills and actually playing games got a massive overhaul. And this right here, this might actually blow your mind. For teenage athletes who are in what they call the training to compete phase, the blueprint says a whopping 70% of their time should be spent on training, just developing skills, and only 30% on actual competition. That is a huge shift away from that old win-at-all-costs youth tournament culture, right? The focus is on building a rock-solid foundation first.
And here you can see the whole journey mapped out. It's so logical. You start with the absolute basics, they call it fundamentals. Things like agility, balance, and coordination. Forget volleyball for a second. Just learn to be an athlete. From there, you slowly build up, develop skills, build the physical engine, and only way later, at the very top, does the focus shift to winning big. It's a long game.
Okay, so that whole blueprint we just talked about, that was put together back in 2007. Now, fast forward to today, we're in a whole new era because technology is giving us the tools to execute that plan with a kind of precision they could have only dreamed of back then. This isn't just a small upgrade, it's a revolution.
Just look at the difference here. It's really night and day. We've gone from coaches relying on their gut feeling and spending endless hours manually rewatching game tape to a world of instant, data-driven insights. Practice isn't just a one-size-fits-all plan anymore, it's being tailored to each specific athlete.
Let's start with AI. This is a total game changer. Remember how the old system had no good way to find talent? Well, an AI can watch thousands of hours of video and spot tiny patterns or flaws in technique a human coach would just never catch. Suddenly, elite-level analysis isn't just for the national team. It's available to way more people. And then you've got virtual reality. Think back to that 70-30 training ratio. How do you get hundreds of perfect practice reps in? VR is one answer. A player can put on a headset and practice receiving the exact same nasty serve 100 times in a row, building that perfect muscle memory without all the physical wear and tear of a full practice.
And finally, you've got wearable sensors. This is where it gets really personal. A coach doesn't have to guess anymore if a player is getting tired or if they're in that window of trainability for strength. They can see the data in real time. If a player's jump height starts to drop, they know it's time to back off and prevent an injury. Every single minute of training becomes more efficient.
Okay, so you see all this incredible tech, the AI, the VR, the sensors, and you have to wonder, right? Where does this leave the coach? Are we about to get replaced by a bunch of algorithms and robots? Well, the answer from pretty much everyone you ask, athletes and coaches included, is a big, clear no. The tech isn't the replacement. It's the assistant. This quote nails it. It's a tool that supplements a coach's knowledge. The computer gives you the what, the raw data, but you still need the human coach for the why, for the motivation, and for that personal connection.
And that leaves us with this really fascinating question, and it applies to pretty much every sport out there. As technology gets better and better at handling the X's and the O's and the repetitive drills, what's left for the coach to do? Well, it seems like their role evolves. They go from being a drill instructor to being a mentor, a strategist, and a manager of all this new information. The blueprint is there and the tools are smarter than ever, but maybe, just maybe, that human element is what will always make the biggest difference.